They responded, they interviewed this suspect. After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. This investigation is ongoing, however, and I'd like to thank those community members that were involved in this and helping us bring this person to our attention, and so we can have an ongoing investigation. The second point I want to talk about, but
wonderful.
Let's bring in Rachel Darvish, who evacuated from.
They got a guy.
Unprecedented.
They got a guy who they think, well, they don't think anything. There's not a probable cause. But here's the news of what happened here. So what you just heard was LAPD saying that they have no probable cause to arrest the dude or to press charges against the dude. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Here's the story that happened with this guy. There's a guy that they found, and he was found around the block of Ybarra Road in Woodland Hills, California. It occurred around 4:30 p.m. yesterday. That's January 9th, Thursday. He was detained by citizens. So the citizens of Woodland Hills, the Woodland Hills area of Los Angeles, had to find him on their own near the site of the Kenneth Fire. The suspect, described as a homeless man in his 30s, was allegedly seen attempting to light a fire behind a van. So the witnesses reported they saw him with a propane tank and a yellow tank resembling a flamethrower. They apprehended him. There's video of it, I believe, online. I saw a video that looked like this is what they were doing. They roped him with zip ties. Somebody did, I think Colin Rugg reported it. They did a little takedown move on him, just like, put the leg behind him and push him backwards, put zip ties on him, restrained him until the police arrived. Initially, the LAPD treated the area like a crime scene and investigated the incident as a potential arson case. Well, naturally, even if you don't know if he was involved with the Kenneth Fire, he's got a tank. Witnesses say he was trying to light a fire behind the van. That seems like something. I don't know. I'm not a police officer. I don't know how this stuff works, man. LA is wild. Senior lead officer Charles Denzel stated that they believed the Kenneth Fire was started intentionally. What do you need for probable cause? I'm not a lawyer. I'm just looking this stuff up. Somebody else tell me. The threshold for probable cause in arson cases is typically, allegedly, maybe, at least by Perplexity AI's standards, and it is sourced via, I'm going to put the source out here. It is actually via Arson Protection Issues and Strategies, ncjrs.gov. A fire has occurred. That's number one that you need. Number two, that a fire was intentionally set. So I don't know if it was official or not, but we just saw that the LAPD said that the Kenneth Fire was intentional. They believe it was intentionally set. The suspect was responsible for setting the fire. I don't know what that means. I mean, that's what that's what you have a case for. I don't know what it means. The suspect was responsible. We don't know for a fact that he was responsible for it, but I don't know. Propane, I think a lighter, flamethrower. I mean, I don't know what else you need. Here we are. And I think the big takeaway is this is the DEI disaster that Charlie Kirk talking about. Remember when Charlie Kirk and that came out and actually fell out with, I never knew her that well, or not well at all. I didn't know her, but I've always been a fan, still a fan. My take doesn't go by this. Sabby Sabs, way back on the channel. This has 24.7 million views. Savvy Sabs, we kind of had a little back and forth, and I know that's going to happen with these leftists. It's just what it is on race, DEI, the DEI initiatives. This video got 24.7 million views, and I went back and forth with Sabby Sabs on it. So she paraphrasing, she said this is basically racism, and I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Let's play it so we can relive that clip.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking
No, I mean,
about
like,
that.
you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well,
that's the
you
game
wouldn't have
theory
done
I was
that.
talking
You
about
wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that
before. That's not who I
before.
am. That's
No.
not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has
But
created.
And that's why I think this.
And I don't even know why they capitulated so quickly. Here's a memo, Charlie, and this is a good moment. I'm not against Charlie on this. If you're gonna do a show called Thought Crimes, do the thought and do the crime. Don't backtrack off of it like this. But all he said was what? What did he say?
Before we took off, and I feel better now thinking
No, I mean,
about
like,
that.
you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
He said, if I see a black, paraphrasing, if I see a black, and it doesn't just mean black, it's a DEI. So if it's a black, it's a rainbow colored, it's a person that used to have a banana, cut the banana off, didn't have a banana, added a banana, has a banana, licks banana, has a carpet, licks carpets, whatever. I don't even know what encompasses these people anymore. Obesity is part of it too, like Alex Jones before he was a coward. If you see somebody like that in the cockpit, it's not just black, it's DEI. I'm pretty confident, I follow Charlie Kirk, I'm pretty confident he would say that that's a legitimate take. So Sabby Sabs and anybody else who thinks this is racist, they're just so emotional. What's wrong with this statement?
A thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
So when she said, I'm just going to use her because that's the typical leftist thought frame. I said, if the companies are going to say, we want to hire people based on DEI, basically quotas, or we want this idea of diversity based on skin color and all these things. If I see one of the people that would be in that group, somebody flying a rainbow flag or whatever, I'm going to wonder, are they qualified or are they just there because you did this initiative? So I said, Sabs, if you're upset about it, here's what the authentic take would be, the logical take, not the emotional take, would be to say, stop doing this DEI nonsense. Don't say I'm gonna pick a black woman for the Supreme Court. Then you pick Ketanji Brown Jackson, and she is qualified to be there, but you just disqualified her by saying, I'm not gonna look at the whole pool of candidates. If you really cared about her, you would say, if you really cared about the black pilots, you would say, I'm this airline. And the CEO of that airline was one of those type of rainbow people. I'm the CEO of this airline. There ain't nobody flying a plane unless they're the best. Period. End of story. Next question. So if you see a rainbow, it's still a mistake to have a rainbow flag, but if you see a rainbow warrior, a rainbow person in the cockpit, you might still question it, but at least the company said, we're hiring the best, period. You see the nose ring, don't worry about it. They're the best. You see the black, don't worry about it. They're the best. That's not what the companies are even saying right now. So this is a tame comment. How does that pertain to this story here? What do you mean, how does it pertain to the story? It's LA is on a plane with DEI pilots flying. And it ended up in flames, literally. They sent gear to Ukraine in 2022. They slashed $17.6 million from the fire department. Go check any of this out. In 2024, the mayor, Karen Bass, got ran up on by a journalist. Her mouth was tongue-tied. She didn't know what to say. She was in Africa, in Ghana, while her city was burning. Diversity initiatives. They set up a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau in 2022. Why'd they do that? Because after this whistleblower settlement, they paid $3 million to firefighters who reported unsafe practices and faced retaliation. After that, they did this DEI initiative bureau in firefighting. Dry hydrants. During the wildfires, firefighters found the hydrants with no water. Leadership changes. Again, Kristen Crowley became the first female and open woman with a carpet to lick other carpets chief in 2022 amid allegations of all the stuff that was going on before. environmental water diversions. Some of it comes from the federal government. I saw the Craston scenes talking about that, but that's not the full story. A lot of it is from the state level as well. The California Department of Water Resources also played a role in protecting species like the Delta smelt while your homes are burning. Avoiding ocean water. California avoids using ocean water to fight due to equipment erosion, to fight fire. You don't think you can figure out? This is the fifth largest GDP in the world out of any country, the state of California. You can't figure out a way to have open in case of emergency, saltwater sprinklers all over the place. But I don't know, maybe you can't do that. Look at this. Canadian firefighters came through. It's just weird. Your city's on the edge of a huge body of water and it's burning down. That doesn't make any sense. You can figure something out. That makes zero sense. And it's one of the richest areas in the country too. It's beautiful out there. Look at this. Canadian firefighters came through with a CL-415 super scoopers. One of them went down because of a civilian drone, believe it or not. But these Canadian aircrafts, they came from Canada, came here, and they saw the LA planes using this red fire retardant. And they were like, what are you guys doing? It takes too long to refill. Our planes just go, spray the water over the fire, land, skim over the water, the ocean, soup up the ocean water, and come back and spray over the fire. We're doing it way faster than you guys. Incompetence. Canada. It's kind of awkward because, the Trump jokes about Canada and all that, then they have to come show us how to use water to put out a fire. Literally. Improvised firefighting tools. Video showed firefighters resorting to using, TMZ said it wasn't purses. It looked like a black Coach purse, but it wasn't, I guess. They were just little bags that happened to look like Coach purses. That's the only brand of purse I know. Due to equipment shortages. So they were filling up purses with water and dumping it on fires. Literally. Climate change focus. Officials blame, I didn't even want to say the word on the live because that triggers all kinds of warnings from YouTube. Now you're going to see a banner after this. They couldn't keep their richest residents safe. And you're going to see a banner under this video because I talked about the climate. But they blame it on the climate. If only you had paid more taxes, everything would have been fine. Green project spending, they spend heavily on grid resilience while firefighting resources feel the pinch. We saw the almost 18 million they cut. Urban forestry initiatives, they plant millions of trees, but they don't clear the bush. Donald Trump has never been more right before than he was on this take. Incompetence, DI. Is this the end of it? I think this is it. It's sad that it had to end like this. Prayers up to everybody out there in LA or, in that whole area fighting fires and, your whole home burned down. I saw Mel Gibson's whole home burned down while he was on with Joe Rogan. Crazy, man. Thoughts and prayers to the family. I saw James Wood, man. He was tearing up. I can't blame him. That's your life saving, man. And you forget about that. That's your home. But luckily, nobody's unlived. You can deal with the material loss. But I think that's the end of DEI for sure.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.